Hey guys, how are you? I'm here today answering listener Jocelyn's question. She asked me, how do you know when you're doing mediumship that you're actually talking to spirit and not just accessing quote unquote past data? Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for asking this question and for giving me permission to make a video about it for you. Okay, so the first part of the answer is that when you know, you know. So a lot of people will say, how do I know that I'm receiving a sign from my loved one in spirit, or that you are receiving a sign from my loved one in spirit to pass on to me? The answer is you just know. When you see that feather or that bluebird and you're like, I just know that's grandma. That's really all it is. But now let's get a little bit more deep. For me, everybody's body sensations and ways of receiving spirit communication are different. In my case, I get what you who have been around a while know I call spirit tingles. Now, this isn't always. That's the thing that can kind of trip me up too, is sometimes when I don't get that, they became sort of my training wheels where I became very reliant on that feeling to let me know, okay, spirit's right next to me and they are giving me this information and I know it's right because as I begin to share their message with my sitter, I start to feel, I'm feeling it right now. It's so funny. Um, this It's, you know what it is? I actually found out that it's ASMR. I always wonder if I mixed up those initials. Anyway, I get this sensation of, do you know that scalp tingler thing? It's like, it looks like a spider and people give it to each other for gifts. And you put it on your head and it goes like this and it gives you like, whew. I call it spirit tingles because that is exactly what it feels like to me. It feels like somebody's putting that thing on my head like a claw. And then for some reason, it's always in the right side of my body. I don't know why. I get this chill that goes all the way down my arm and all the way down my leg. And I know that spirit is validating. And I start to feel my vibration lifting. And I start to feel that spirit is saying, yes, yes, you got this. Is that proof that I'm connecting? I know that she's not asking for proof. I know you're not, Jocelyn, but if I were to explain this to someone who was dubious, that's not, it's not evidence that I'm not contacting, that I'm not accessing past data. In fact, as a medium myself, I always say, if anyone asks, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I know how I believe it works. I know how people have told me they think it works. If you've been here a while, you will have seen a lot of my near-death experiencers tell their stories. And from everything I've heard from them, it just lines up that spirit is communicates with us telepathically. Some people can actually see spirit with their eyes. I don't. Hopefully I will one day. I have one time in my life when I was young, but it's it's actually why I studied, because I wasn't born knowing that I was communicating with spirit. I studied a lot for 2 years straight. So through studying and learning by doing practice readings with people and having them validate the information that I was giving them, either a yes or a no, that's how we learn. That's in training. That's how we learn. We learn to distinguish, okay, when they said no, how did it feel in my body? When they said yes, how did that feel? It's such a subtle feeling of energy that's why we practice and practice and practice. That's why as a medium, I do what's called sitting in the power as often as possible. I aim for every day. Sitting in the power is an exercise where we're meditating without the intention to receive messages. Messages may come through. The point is to visualize your own soul, the light of your own soul, visualize it expanding and blending with the other realm, with the spirit world. And by doing this every day, we start to feel what our own energy feels like, because we're also distracted in this life that we don't often stop to think, what does my soul feel like? So sitting in the power is you getting to know your soul. It's how does my soul feel? So that when I go into a mediumship reading and I say, Spirit, I call upon you now. I ask you to blend with me. I ask that all of my own thoughts, perceptions, ideas, fears, anxieties be removed completely and replaced with feelings and messages from spirit. I ask that I receive these messages clearly and concisely and in a way that my sitter will understand. Please help me today bring through names, memories, cause of passing, details that I couldn't possibly know. I don't always get that. That can be a little difficult because my brain as a perfectionist is like, bring me the thing that's the mic drop thing. And not every spirit does, but I ask for that because it really does help. It instills confidence in my abilities and what I'm doing. And it also guarantees that my sitter knows that that person in spirit is there with them, because there's no way I could have known that detail about them. So when I do that, I immediately, excuse me, I have an itch. I immediately start to feel this crackling energy that feels different from my own energy. I start to feel that ASMR feeling. I get tingles all the way through my body. And I'm like, okay. And I say, Spirit, I feel you here. Thank you for being here. I'm ready to work. And I just, I trust you. And I always say, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. I now surrender to the process and allow myself to receive. I don't overthink. I just receive. So, oh, I just got to chill again. So when I'm going into a mediumship reading shortly, and I know that that is not yet quite spirit, not quite yet. But the answer to that is also, I don't know that I'm talking to spirit and not accessing a past memory or picking up on the person's energy specifically. In that, when people who don't believe say to me, this isn't real, normally I just ignore them. But if I were to respond, I would say, I understand that you don't believe in this, and I completely respect that. I myself am a born skeptic. I can't promise you that I don't know with 100% certainty that what I'm doing is accessing communication from spirit. I believe with 100% certainty that I'm connecting with the spirit world. But I'm not there. People who have crossed over to the other side and come back, as I said, pretty much all validate the way that it works. And therefore, I have much more proof in my mind. I feel I have enough evidence to believe it. I see how it works. Everything lines up with the way that these people say it should and does. And I know that there are mediums that, as I said, have literally been seeing spirit standing right in front of them. They don't have mental illnesses. They are not hallucinating. They are sober, and they have been seeing spirit clear as day since they were children. They just know. All I have is the testimony of other people that I believe are authentic. Enough people now where there's no doubt in my mind that something's happening here. I also just know how I feel. I know that when I call on, even when I just say, hi, grandma, I feel tingles. It's not chills. It's not the same thing as when you listen to a song that really moves you, or someone's like telling a ghost story at a campfire and you get creeped out and you get chills. It's similar to chills, but it's different. It actually comes from a different place. It feels totally different from that. And so all I can say is, based on the evidence that I have, my own experience, and the testimony of other people that have a very strong connection with the other side. Some have spirit guides they hear very clearly from, much even stronger than I do. All I know is that when I give mediumship readings, when I give a successful mediumship reading, I know because there are things that I see and hear and know through the clairs, clairsentience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, which is seeing, clairaudience is not, I don't hear it outside of myself. I hear it in my head, a thought. Funny enough, the way I receive it, and everybody's different. When I hear a name, for example, and it's right, because, sometimes I'll get one sitter, I could get 5 names right. And then the next sitter, I get none right. because it's not a perfect science. We're always trying to winnow grain from chaff and figure out, okay, did that just come from me? It's because, as I said, it's a very subtle feeling. So when I hear a name and I'm not even thinking about a name, when I'm not asking spirit, can you give me your name? I'm just talking and all of a sudden I hear a name in my head. You may have seen the episode I did recently where, trying to remember who it was, but just, oh yeah, I was speaking with this person and I kept hearing Mary, Mary, Mary in my mind. And we were just talking. And I just was like, okay, I've heard it enough times now where I'll ask her about it when we're finished. And then at the end, or then halfway through the interview, she mentioned, oh, I just lost my cat, Mary. It wasn't Mary, it was Mary. And I just knew because it matched, it lined up. And as soon as she said it, I got chills through my whole body. And I was like, that's it. That is it. That's what's happening here. So much of it is when you know, you know, so don't doubt it. If a light flickers in your house and you have an electricity issue, it's probably the circuitry. There's probably an issue with your electricity. If a light flickers out of nowhere and it was just when you were thinking about this person, or you even asked them to flicker the lights, as I did when my aunt passed away, literally all the lights started blinking on command. That was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me physically, where I actually physically saw the lights flickering like 10 minutes after I asked her to do it. That was crazy. She had just passed away. I think it's that feeling of you just know, you have a dream and you just know it was a visitation because it felt so different from a regular dream. I know I'm connecting with spirit because it feels so different from my energy. It's subtle, and that's why a medium is not always right. In fact, Mavis Patilla is one of the greatest mediums in the world. She is out of the Arthur Findlay College in the UK. And she said that if, as a professional medium, even if you're the best of the best, don't quote me on this percentage, but it's something like, if you get 75% of this stuff right, you are an excellent medium. Because none of us can be 100% sure that every single thing that comes into our thoughts as we're giving a mediumship reading is definitely right. Now, people who are a little bit more advanced may say, no, I know, I always know. You know, look at someone like Teresa Caputo, who has a lot of experience and she's done this for so long, and she's such a good medium and such a born natural medium that, yeah, but even the best of the best have some misses along the way. So the answer is A, I can't be sure, except in my own knowing. I can't be sure from a scientific perspective that that is what is happening here. All I know is what I feel. Somebody said to me, oh, you're he called me like a con artist or something. He's like, oh, basically you're a con artist. And I was like, that's funny. And he said, this stuff isn't, and then somebody said, this isn't, I just don't believe that's real. I said, that's okay. But I know it's real because I'm the person experiencing it. I'm the one, when I say spirit, I ask you to join me now. I ask you to blend with my energy and I'm ready to work with you. And my whole body starts to tingle and I get electric tingling through my entire body. And when I'm reading somebody and I say, I'm seeing a Cracker Jack box, and they're like, yes, that means something. I get the electric static all through my body. And so I know it's right. I just know. So a lot of this is just trusting yourself, trusting your gut. And it's a knowing. And the only way that I know is from doing lots and lots of practice mediumship readings, and even with my clients. Just getting that validation that they know what I'm talking about, even if I don't, that's how we know. So it's really as simple as that. And like I said, I can't tell you 100% that that's not happening. Maybe I'm accessing other dimensions. Maybe I'm psychically tapping into your psyche. Either way, how cool is that? How, isn't that interesting that we can even do that? Maybe I'm remote viewing. Maybe I'm so many things. I don't know. I don't even know how it works exactly. I just know that spirit is of a higher vibration than we are. And you know what? They're giving me chills right now because they're validating what I'm saying. I just got that message. I'm getting, because the chills aren't stopping, and they're saying, yeah, you're right. And again, could I prove that to a non-believer? No, and I don't have to. I know Jocelyn's a believer. I know most of you here are, if you're not, or you're curious, and that's just my experience. I know that when spirit is of a high vibration, so in order to communicate with us in this dense realm, we have to bring our vibration up, and they have to bring their vibration down. They have to slow theirs down. We have to speed ours up. And I could do a whole video on how to raise your vibration too. I'm going to write that down. And we meet in the middle. We're both not perfectly, we're not right there, but we are like, meeting each other really closely enough so I can say, okay, sometimes I'll even say to them, yell in my ear, yell as loud as you can. If you're giving me a name, just scream in my head. And if you're giving me a symptom of something you suffered from or something that took your life, I always tell them, I can handle it. Bring it on as strongly as you can. Make me feel it. It doesn't hurt. It just give me that feeling so that I can give better evidence. It does not bother me. I can take it. Some people don't like that because they're like, I really feel like I can't breathe. I'll feel like, okay, I'm a little short of breath, but it's more of an echo of a feeling. It's not like it actually hurts me and I physically actually can't breathe. So that is it. It's me bouncing what I'm getting off of my sitter and saying, okay, why am I seeing Yosemite? Oh, we took a trip to Yosemite together. Okay, well, it's possible I read their mind, but then why am I not also getting other stuff? Why am I also not getting what shoes they bought today and sometimes you do, because a spirit will validate that they are there at that moment when you're doing something. So one person I read recently, I said, did your washer and dryer just break? And she said, yes, just yesterday or just today. And she said, I was making a phone call about it or talking about it with somebody. And I'm like, well, why would a spirit bring that up? To validate that they were there at that moment and they're aware of it. Possibly I'm picking up on her energy, but I just know it feels different. We were really locked in with this spirit, and this spirit was coming through strongly. So I took it and I just knew. I knew the difference was that this spirit was giving me chills and saying, yeah, let her know I was there. I saw that, just to let her know that I am there at all times. I'm there. I witness these things. I can still be, I say up there, down, wherever it is. It's right in front of us. The veil is actually in the same space that we are. We are just operating at different vibrations, so we can't see it and anymore because we've shut that part of that sense down because it would be too overwhelming. Imagine if we were always walking. It's like when you take a psychedelic, I say that when a person takes a psychedelic, it opens up it breaks down that wall a bit. So you can kind of see all this other energy and kaleidoscope things and things that sometimes aren't there, or things that are there, but suddenly you see them. You see that it's moving particles. It's not just a state. It's not just a still object. You might see this pen and it might look like the pen is moving and breathing and has life to it. Not always, but that has happened to me in the past. In college, I don't go around taking acid anymore, but I've done it a few times in my lifetime. So I think that's it. Trust your gut. If you see a sign or you hear a voice in your head that feels like, where did that come from? Why did I just have that thought? Trust that it's spirit. If you know, you know. That's it. And when I say I know what my truth is. I don't know that that's the truth for everybody. I can't know that. I'll never know until I myself leave this body, and then I'll probably come back again and forget it all over again. So that is my answer. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found this valuable. Please, would you like my videos? Will you leave comments? Will you hit the bell notifications so you know when I release new videos? All of these things are free and only take a second and really help the algorithm to get this message out to many more people, to let me and also YouTube know that you're there, that you're listening, that you're engaged, and that you care about this information that I'm sharing and that you're interested. And that is how we grow the channel. So if you would do that, that would mean the world. And also I love reading your comments and I love to engage with you. If you would like to receive a mediumship reading from me, you can email me at magicisrealshannon@gmail.com. You can go to magicisrealservices.com and we will set up a Zoom. And I would love to connect with you and your loved ones in spirit. Thank you so much for being here. Lots of love to all of you. I hope that you are healthy, well, abundant, and joyful.